Okay, hello everyone. So let's welcome you to another semester with me. Okay, in another subject that we call global study 4. So you have learned already 3 semesters right about the global study. That's why I hope that you can understand very well about what they call global study. Okay, they cover a lot of knowledge okay about the world and also about Cambodia as well. And today, is the first day we meet each other, and we go to another lesson, that you already have learned as well, and get some more idea, about what is the new one. Okay. So this, chapter focus on, the chapter 12 about, education. Okay. And in this, chapter we have, 4 sections that we are going to study. The first section, focus on development and structure of education. And the second we talk about functional perspective. And the third one talk about conflict perspective. And the last one talk about symbolic interactionism. Okay. So let's start with our section 1 that focus on the development and structure of education. But before I go, I would like you to look at this picture a little bit, everybody. Do you think that this kind of learning and teaching here, is it inside the normal classroom or what? Okay, you can see a lot of books right behind. So where is it? Yeah, not in the classroom, right? It is in the library. So this sometimes this is another new way that we can also give teaching to our students as well. Okay, so today you will learn some new way as well about what we can teach beside the classroom. You can see now you can also learn with me right online through the video clip that I posted you to through the Telegram. So this is another new way as well of learning, right? In this kind of COVID pandemic. Now let's go to another one. So for our chapter 12 here, this is for the whole chapter, not for section 1. Okay. That you will discuss about school as bureaucracy. So in Cambodia we still see that not in only Cambodia but also in other country, and this subject here. This section, we focus a lot on America, but we also compare to Cambodia as well that we have or not. And second, we talk about the basic function of education. So what are the basic functions of education? Okay, and the third one, evaluate the merit-based measure of public education. So talking about state school, okay, and we focus on merit. Merit means talking about the qualification. So we will evaluate that whether it is merit-based or not. And the first one describe the way we school socialize students. So as you learn already from about socialization, right? After parent school is the second agent of socialization. And another one talk about discussion the educational inequality. Even though the government even though every country want to provide educational equality, you can still see some educational inequality. Okay, what are they? Let's wait and see together. And the last one, identify the 21st century education. Now we are in 21st century, right? So how do we, achieve the education in this 21st century? Okay, so let's go together, everyone. And these are the key terms, for this first session. I think maybe you learn so well, right? And all, I think. Like formal schooling, we learn already there are 3 form of education and schooling, right? But schooling only is a formal education. So we have formal, we have non-formal, and we have informal. Can you remember that, everybody? Formal is the time that you study at school, right? With teacher in the building, you have enough facility, okay, textbook, and when you graduate you have the degree and so on. So we call formal schooling. And non-formal it is a bit less formal than let's just study outside a part-time class, right? You study in the evening or you study computer for a short course. This is called non-formal. And the informal is the time that you study from everywhere. Sometimes it's not like that you are learning, right? Okay, so we call informal. Okay, and the other, I will tell you, in the lesson, like open classroom, like cooperative learning, integrative curriculum, voucher system, charter school, magnet school, for private school, flip classroom, project based, problem based, and competency based learning. Okay, so you will learn all these, words in the lesson. Okay, please try to take note, everybody, when you are watching this video clip, so that you can get some idea. Otherwise, after watching, you get nothing, right? Please be careful. Okay. Now, before we go to the lesson, the main idea and the main point, I would like to look at this question a little bit. Do you think the role of a teacher has changed dramatically over the past 20 years? Agree, disagree, or not sure? So, like, what are the role of teacher? Okay, 20 years ago. So you are the controller, right? Organizer, prompter, assessor, observer, tutor. Okay, also the resource person and so on. How about now? The same or not? Okay, the answer, yeah. Agree or disagree or not sure? Yeah, if you talk about some teacher, maybe they don't agree. But if we talk about, maybe most of you, they are young people, agree, right? Change a lot. Before we study in the class, but now we study online, right? Example. So this is another way that we can see the change, big change, right? Most before we didn't use any IT, but now we use a lot of IT to teach, okay, to study, example. So this is we can say the big change as well. Okay, so agree, most of us. Okay, let's go together. Now let's talk about bureaucracy. So we pronounce bureaucracy in education. So what we call bureaucracy, bureaucracy is the way that we try to follow the standard. Okay, follow the standard, and based on anonymous person, one that doesn't show the name, so that bureaucracy is a challenge to be confronted with a righteous attitude, tolerant for stupidity, and a bulldozer when necessary. Now, based on this sentence here, what can you understand about the attitude of the person that they say it? He agree or he doesn't agree with the bureaucracy? Yeah, you can see it's a challenge. Challenge means a problem, right? To be confronted with a righteous attitude. Righteous means the good one. Okay, tolerant for stupidity. You have to be patient with people who are stupid, and bulldozer when necessary. Sometimes you give up, right? You don't care much about bulldozer is a kind of machine, right? But this one means that when you have to ignore sometime. Okay, because a lot of the same thing, that sometimes you feel bored, right, when you have take the same thing example. So this one means that the person doesn't agree, doesn't like the bureaucracy. And now let's go to bureaucracy together. So talking about the bureaucracy, it starts in the early 1900s. Okay, that based on the factory model of education. So this one means that the educator at the time believed that children could be and should be educated in much the same way as cars were mass produced. Everybody every student has to be given the same education, the same material, the same level. Okay, it's like the same that you produce the car in the factory. So this is called bureaucracy. So all children should be educated in the same way. Okay, yeah. Nowadays, some teacher and administrator of the school work very hard, to personalize the time you spend in school, right? And nowadays, the public education, in the country remain very much an impersonal bureaucratic process. We want to, give the way that the student like doing example, but the government or the ministry, try to make you follow the standard that provided by the ministry or by the government, okay, so that they can control the education very easily in the country. This is about the problem that they contract each other sometimes, okay. And nowadays the school They want to focus on specialization, rule, and procedure and impersonality. I mean, they don't try to follow what the student want to pursue sometime, because they just want to focus on specialization, like and also the rule, right, and a lot of procedure. Okay, take entrance exam, and then study year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and then take the graduate exam or state exam, example. And when you study at high school, there are a lot of subject example, right? That some subject you don't like. This is we call impersonality. Okay, I mean not relevant or not interested for you. So this is about just some way that you should know about the bureaucracy in education. But why the school need to be standard like that, standardized. I mean follow the formal rule or the formal standard like that. Okay, so based on the bureaucratic model, there are some advantages of that kind of standardized school or called bureaucratic school. In the bureaucratic model, education can be accomplished more efficiently for a large number of students when they are at similar stages in their ability and development. So this is the advantage that they can get from this kind of bureaucratic. Like you can see in Cambodia as well, we can see that in one class we have a lot of students, right? So if we try to follow different way for different learner, maybe it is difficult for the school, right, or for the director, for teacher to control. That's why they use this standard so that everybody can achieve, can pass the exam, can get the same education, right? At the same similar ability and development. And this one also easy for teacher as well. So teacher prepare one lesson plan, right, and can teach all the students without even in different classes. Okay, you can also use one lesson plan, right? And another advantage is that student receive the same instruction, and it's also reflect the impersonal bureaucratic nature of school as well. Okay, so students just follow the same for every thing in the school. I mean for everybody get the same standard of education. So this is about the reason why school should be standardized. And another main advantage is that efficiency. Okay, that is the ultimate goal of a bureaucracy. It also increase when teacher teach the same or at least similar content. So we can do in all over the all the schools in the country, that we try to follow the same standard, right, in the whole country. So we can get efficiency that everybody get the same. Okay, so this is about what we can see our advantages of the school. I mean that we call bureaucracy. And another one, the material can be a brew and purchase in bulk. Okay, because we use the same book, right? The same book, the same material, so we can use for the whole country. Okay, so we can save money as well, but we could buy in bulk, right? In large amount of book, and we can also do the testing that is standardized, right? Like we do every day in our country, example. That every the whole country students take the same test. Okay, no matter they are in a city or in the countryside, they take the same. And another advantage is that students can transfer, right, from one school to another school, because they study the same, right, everywhere. So they can move from one school to another school to study easily. And another one, in order to do that, they have to use a lot of rule, right, and procedure. Okay, in order to keep all the school become consistent with the material, with the course book, with the teaching, right, for every teacher. Okay, so this is about the way that we call bureaucracy in the education. So school in most country, also in our country as well, usually in the bureaucratic system. Okay, that we follow a lot of rule, a lot of procedure and standard. Okay, like that. So I think you can understand about the word bureaucracy, right, in education. So what do the critique, of the bureaucratic model say. Okay, even though this is some people say that it is good, right? However, some people also don't support that because this is the old factory. Okay, and this one, nowadays maybe not so appropriate, for schooling. Sometimes, the students say that. I mean, the students they say that are not inorganic material to be processed on an assembly line. So they are, not the material, right? They are the people that come to school with previous knowledge and who interact socially and emotionally with other students. So they can sing, right? They can find new way. They can create some idea and so on. That's why based on the critique, they say that formal schooling, the education that is provided and rejected by the society, the school juridic nature is unable to respond to the expressive, creative, and emotional need of all children. Because some children, they have some expressive, right, nature, they have the creative nature, they have the emotional nature, that they can learn much faster, right, than the standard they provided by the school. Okay, that's why they prefer something that less rigid, may not so may not just following the rule and the procedure all the time. Okay, and now let's go to another question here. So the following are benefits of the bureaucratic model except what? So everybody, which one that is not in the benefit? Yeah, but what we learned already just now. So one lesson plan for number of students, yeah, right, the benefit. How about B? Material can be purchased in bulk, yeah, right. How about C? Standardized testing. Is it in the geographic model or not? Based on what we learned just now? Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, the last one is not in that we call personalized teaching, right? Okay. So now you have learned about the first part of the lesson one. I mean in this section one here. Okay. So please watch it, and if you have any question, you can ask me more in the Telegram group. Okay. Thank you for your paying attention and see you in another video clip. Okay. Goodbye.